Dun, 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 dun. It's cocktail cooking class. We're back. We're doing a martini. Cut right to the chase, we're doing the martini this week. Really excited to do the martini this week. It's such a classic cocktail with such a cool history to it. And I really think it's the drink that everybody thinks of when they think of cocktails in general. I feel like a lot of people are really intimidated by the martini because there are so many different ways to order it. So today I'm hoping to break that down a little bit for you and make it a little less intimidating when you go to order it or when you go to make it yourself. Cocktail dates back well into the 1800s, but back then, usually it was typically served with gin. And instead of the dry vermouth that you'll see in most recipes today, it was served with sweet vermouth because that was really the fashion of the time. Once dry vermouth really started to catch on, it switched over to dry vermouth, was still served with gin. But the biggest change in martini history actually came about because of James Bond himself. The classic shaken not stirred line really changed the way martinis were made.
Vodka martini.
Shaken, not stirred.
Vodka?
Of course.
When James Bond hit the scene, it really switched over the standard format from gin to vodka. And before that point, every bartender worth of salt knew that a martini was to be stirred and not shaken. Actually, it was called a Bradford if it was a shaken drink. A completely different cocktail entirely. But being such a huge James Bond fan myself, we're gonna do the classic James Bond vodka shaken martini today. And for that, we're gonna need some vodka. Today I'm going to be using Boston local Bully Boy Distillery, one of my favorites. Some dry vermouth, martini and rosso has pretty much been the standard as long as the martini has been around, and some olives. So when you're making a martini yourself, one of the most important things to think about is temperature. The martini is a strained drink, which means you won't be serving it on the rocks, but you do need to think about making sure that it stays cold when you serve it. So one of the best ways to do that, before I even start making the martini, I'll make sure I throw a little bit of ice into the martini glass I'll be serving in, just to make sure that that glass is cold upon serving. So we're gonna start out, fill the shaker with a little bit of ice. So first things first, we're gonna start out with some vodka. Now, almost every martini recipe you're gonna read is gonna tell you a different amount of vodka, but I like to make mine pretty strong. So I'm gonna start out with 3 ounces of vodka. Now, vermouth is really what makes a martini a martini. When the switch was made over from sweet vermouth to dry vermouth, people would order a dry martini to tell the bartender that they wanted it made with dry vermouth. But now that that's pretty much the standard practice, the 2 terms you'll hear interchanged are dry and extra dry. But now here's where things get a little bit confusing. Nowadays, when you order a martini, they'll know to make it with dry vermouth. That's pretty much the standard. If you ask for a dry martini, the bartender will know to make that with less dry vermouth. I know it's a little counterintuitive, but the more you say dry, the less dry vermouth you're gonna get and the more vodka is gonna appear to be forward in the drink. So if you ask for an extra dry martini, you're getting as little dry vermouth as possible in that drink. I like my martinis pretty straight up, so I'll usually use anywhere from ½ ounce to 1 ounce of dry vermouth. So now the line everyone knows a martini for.
Shaken or stirred?
Do I look like I give a damn?
Now this is gonna be a drink you're gonna wanna shake for a little bit just to make sure that it gets to a nice cold temperature. Before we serve it, we're gonna get rid of that ice we've been using to chill the martini glass, make sure that there's no water left in there. Toss a couple of olives in the drink. That is the standard garnish for your martini. I actually splurged and got some blue cheese olives today. That's pretty good. You don't have to do that, but it's a nice little touch to add on. Then all we're gonna do, toss the strainer on. Strain that right into the glass. So there you have it, the James Bond vodka martini. As intimidating as the martini can be to some people, this really is such an easy cocktail to make, just 2 ingredients. The hardest part to master is just the right balance of vodka and vermouth when you're going about it.
Perfectly balanced, this whole thing should be.
So I hope this was nice and easy for you guys. I know that I posted this on my Instagram, but Thursday is gonna be the new day for cocktail cooking class, right in time for the weekend so that you can make them over Friday or Saturday when you have some friends over for some drinks. I am really excited to see how you guys are progressing along making some of these cocktails at home, and I wanna help you guys out as well. So I'm doing a little contest this week. If you post a video on your Instagram and tag me in it, I have my link to my Instagram below. I'm gonna be giving away one of these cocktail shakers, the Boston style shaker. I do have this linked below, but I'm gonna be giving one of these away this week to somebody who goes ahead and makes the martini at home. So post a video on your Instagram story, tag me in it. I'm gonna be picking one of you to send a shaker on over to so that you can make next week's cocktail as well. But to that, cheers.